Today's video is going to walk you through assembling 3 two-page layouts using the brand new Stampin' Up! Paper collection, Soda Pop. Hi, I'm Katie Taylor from scrappinkaty.com, where I show you how to preserve your family's memories through the art of scrapbooking. In today's video, I will walk you through assembling these 3 layouts as part of my Soda Pop workshop featuring the Soda Pop collection and the sticker sheet. You can add some embellishments from your stash and make your layouts look almost exactly like mine. So for the assembly, I'm attaching that center cardstock and then the center patterned paper on the light side of limeade, and then these 3x6s will go down. You want to make sure that you're not adhering down the top right corner and the bottom left corner of these pieces. I'm using my T-ruler to make sure the placement is correct on this piece of pattern paper. Again, all of this will be in the guide that you can get free with purchase on my website. And then I'm going to attach the 5x7 photo mat or the photo placeholder. Now, while I am constructing these, you will not see photos, but if you'll hang around in between each layout, I am going to show you what these layouts look like with my photos attached. Just going to reposition this right quick. This is all part of designing a workshop, kind of trial and error and making notes off to the side what needs to be changed. For the embellishment part, I am going to peel away some of these stickers. I'm going to start with this frame, and we are actually going to take some scissors and cut 1/2 into halves, so a 1/4. And then we're going to use those two up at the top to the left of the photo mat. One will be on top of that striped paper, and then one's going to just be tucked slightly behind. And then that's just going to serve as a backdrop for some of the embellishments I'm going to put up there. That second half is going to come down at the bottom and kind of get tucked underneath this polka dot pattern paper. And then I am going to start looking at the sticker sheet again and peeling away some of the stickers that I want to use. Now, some of the stickers I am going to attach with 3D foam tape, so I'm using my anti-static pouch over there to remove the stickiness. And then I am going to take a look at this tag. I absolutely love using tags, but this one's a little bit too long, so I'm going to trim it ever so slightly and then tuck it up here underneath that photo mat. One thing I do around here often, if you're new here, is when I attach my photo mats, I usually don't apply adhesive all the way to the edge, and that will allow me to tuck things under. And when you have layers like that and you're tucking things under and layering them on top of, it just adds extra dimension to your embellishments. Now, I do have this piece or this sheet of wood grain embellishments. These are no longer available, but feel free to use them if they're in your stash. These are from Close to My Heart, or you can use whatever you have. The wood grain goes really nicely with these colors, but you could also use maybe some white acrylic or even just some plain wood. I am attaching just the rest of the wood. These are going to be stars with some liquid adhesive. You could also use glue dots. And I'm just grouping those around these little embellishment clusters. So we've got that embellishment cluster at the top left and then over here in the bottom right. Now it is time to fold down these edges, and that's what I was saying about not adding adhesive to the top right and the bottom left. And then I'm going to add 3D foam tape. Not only is it going to anchor these pieces down so when you put it into your memory protector, but it'll also just kind of add some dimension. For the right layout, this one comes together fairly quickly. I am going to kind of repeat some of the elements on the left layout. This one starts out with the left pieces of pattern paper just going flush to the top, bottom, and left. And then you have some of those squares. And then I'm going to use my T-ruler to attach some photos. Now this one is a 4x6. And then the bottom one, even though it gives you the illusion of being a 4x6, it is actually 2 3x4s. But if you don't like to print your photos in 3x4s, you definitely could use a 4x6 in this instance. So I have everything glued down, and now it is time to start embellishing this layout. Again, with some of the stickers either directly to the layout base or added via 3D foam tape, and I'll just be using my anti-static pouch again. Now, this top little square has to be one of my favorites. It has that little note card, and then I'm going to actually use the typewriter from the sticker sheet. I am going to peel that away in just a second and then attach that over that little notebook piece. That 3D or that typewriter will get some 3D foam tape added to the back of it. Super, super cute. And then it's just going to get adhered down. Now, one thing when working with stickers, don't be afraid to go off of the focal piece. You can see that I have that square, but both of those stickers go off. And then I just love that little heart onto the notebook paper. Now I'm attaching some of the stars directly to the layout base using 3D foam tape, and sometimes it's easier to add the 3D foam tape to the base instead of the back of the stickers. And then I'm going to finish off this little bottom piece with these circle stickers. I think it's a nice element, those circles in the middle of those squares. Now to bring over the little pieces of folded paper, I am attaching those underneath these photo wells. And you can see where you can see the limeade, but once I fold these over, you're going to see that pretty sapphire color in that pattern paper. Since I don't have my photos on yet, I will not be adhering those down, but I am going to come back with some more of the wood grain stars and attach those at various places on this layout. For the most part, we are done with this layout, and I am going to bring in my finished layout with photos and journaling, and you can see where I put the journaling strips. Now keep in mind that the workshop instructions actually has some elements that you can cut for the journaling strips. You can either print those on the computer and then cut them, or you can hand journal like I did. So here is a look at that finished layout. I absolutely love it, and these photos of our oldest son and his new car fit perfectly. For layout number 2, we're going to start with some Lagoon cardstock as the base, and then of course that limeade pattern paper. I am going to bring out my T-ruler. Now these instructions will be included, and it tells you exactly where to line up your top right corner and then how far from the edges you can put this piece. I am going to take one of the borders from the sticker sheet and apply it down toward the bottom of the layout, and then stack some pattern paper also on the bottom. It's important that you put that square at its little angle first, because these pattern papers and the border sticker actually get put over that piece. And then it is time to add the photos. Now again, I'm using photo placeholders. They're matted on sapphire cardstock. I love the look of white mats, so if you don't have any photo placeholders, since this Soda Pop is not offered as a workshop, you definitely could just cut those with white daisy. So those are true 4x6 and 3x4, and then what I do is I just trim my photos down just ever so slightly so you can see that white border. This little sticker will be some journaling in between all of those photos. And then I love this zip strip. So what I'm doing is I'm counting these circles, and then I'm actually going to cut around them. And these will be little scalloped pieces that will either go in behind my photos, or like on this one, it goes behind the sticker that will be adhered at the top left. Such a fun little element. So keep in mind that your zip strips don't have to stay as is. And these circles are perfect for some hand cut scallops. Going to attach this down underneath this photo mat, and then I am going to start applying some of these stickers. Now remember when I told you that sometimes it's easier to attach the 3D foam tape to the layout base instead of the sticker? This is where this comes in, and it comes in handy. Because you don't want your sticker to actually have 3D foam tape over the photo well just yet. Now, if you are adding your photos as you are making this, then you definitely can come in with that 3D foam tape directly on the back of your sticker. And then I'm going to attach this adorable little camera right here. And then I'm going to come back in with some more of the stickers that I have removed the sticky backing to, as well as some of the wood grain elements. This layout pretty much has hearts. That is the theme, whereas layout 1 had stars. So I'm going to finish off this left layout by just adding some more of the wood grain buttons. Now, again, if you don't have buttons, don't worry about it. But what I decided to do was back those buttons with some scraps of the sapphire cardstock, just because buttons are kind of like tags to me. Something has to be in the holes. And since I'm not tying ribbon, if you see a color behind them, it just makes them pop a little bit more. So this frame I will add later. It goes over my photos. You'll see that in the still shot at the end of this layout process. So I'm done with the left layout. I'm going to bring in the right layout, and it's put together a little bit differently. So we don't have the large limeade square, but we do have the borders along the bottom instead of the side. Now on this pattern paper, there wasn't an option to cut a 12 by 1. So you'll have two 1 by 6s, but pay attention because I do have an option to cover that seam so you won't even be able to tell. And then I've also used a smaller piece to include at an angle so that element is brought over from the left layout. I'm also adding these scallop zip strips as well, again just going along the natural curve of those scallops, and then adding my photos. So I have two 4 by 6s and one 4 by 4, again adding those scallops behind the various spots of these photos. And then I'm going to embellish the same way with some of the stickers and then the wood grain elements. I've attached 3D foam tape to the layout base, and that's where this little love is going to go. And you guessed it, that is what's going to hide that seam that was created by having to use two 1 by 6s. And then I'm going to fill in with the beautiful title right underneath that 4 by 4, as well as some of the buttons that I backed with the sapphire cardstock. And for the most part, I did add some wood grain hearts here and there, but for the most part, this layout is done as well. So let's take a look at how this layout looks with photos. I love the borders across the bottom and then the two pattern pieces at an angle. You can see I added some journaling on that sticker on the left between all the photos, as well as some journaling strips at the top right on the right layout. For this third layout on the left layout, I am using some pattern paper with the zip strip still attached. And then I'm just going to add some thin pieces of pattern paper. And then this one is actually backed on some Lagoon cardstock. I'm going to apply that flush with the next piece, and then of course flush with the top and the bottom of my layout base. I'm going to pull out my T-ruler again to make sure that these photos are straight. So we've got various sizes on this layout. We've got a 4 by 6, a 3 by 4, and then we have a 3 by 3 that's kind of at an angle down here, and then I am attaching a 2 by 2. Now this 2 by 2 matted is actually just going to be an anchor spot for some stickers that I got off the sticker sheet, and I have attached 3D foam tape. For the title, I've got this oversized Joy sticker and then just some scraps of the sapphire cardstock, and those will be tucked in underneath the straight edges of the sticker. It just anchors this sticker. It doesn't get lost on that striped pattern. And then I'm going to fill in with some of the wood grain shapes. Now, this layout is all about the florals. And you can see, whereas I backed the buttons with sapphire cardstock, I decided to do the same with those daisies. And then I'm just going to fill those in around these stickers, and then of course this little square that's going to serve as an anchor. For the right layout, again, I left my zip strip attached and I cut it that way. And then I'm going to have those same strips of paper, but this time along the bottom, flush left to right and then flush with each other. And then as far as the photos go, I'm going to pull out my T-ruler and start attaching these. So we've got a couple of 3 by 4s. Again, a 4 by 6 would work here if you don't do 3 by 4s. And then of course I do have my 6 by 4, and then it is just offset ever so slightly, but it's lined up along the left. And then I have that same 3 by 3 and then the 2 by 2 that's going to serve as an anchor for my stickers. I've added the wood frame, the wood grain frame to the sticker, and then 3D foam tape on the back of it. It just frames out that title so well. And then I'm going to have another one of those backed daisies on the right side of this 3x4, and then a little sticker down at the bottom, and that pretty much finishes off this third layout. Super fast, super easy, but you can see how well that this layout goes with my photos, and then of course the journaling strips that I've cut for these as well. Keep in mind that I will leave this soda pop linked down below. You can start ordering that July 3rd, so that is only in a few hours. That is at 12 a.m. Mountain Time. So that would be 1 a.m. Central, or if you're on the West Coast, that's actually going to be at 11 p.m. You can order that if you submit at least a $75 order on my website for whatever you want. Of course, I suggest getting the soda pop. Then I will email you the workshop guide that goes with this, and you can put these layouts together with the soda pop or with any pattern papers and cardstocks you have on hand. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And if you aren't already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button and sign up for notifications so you won't miss another crafty video. Thanks, and have a wonderful evening.